Hi, this is Ron Campius.
And this is Eric Fingerhut. I've got my bottle of water because they tell you in Denver you can never be too hydrated. You dehydrate easily.
That's right, we're in Denver at the Democratic National Convention, and we're still covering all the Middle Eastern and Jewish aspects of this convention. Now this morning, Eric, you attended a session marking the 45-year anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and there was, although it was a broadly based event, there were a couple of Jewish components, weren't there?
Sure. Rabbi Jack Moline from Alexandria, Virginia, was on the program, and he talked about the importance of dreaming using a biblical story. And many people were very moved. I mean, it's an emotional day, considering it's the 45th anniversary, and it just happens to be the day that Barack Obama is giving his acceptance speech as the first African-American major presidential nominee. And it was just quite a day. Al Sharpton gave a very interesting talk discussing how this shouldn't be seen as we shouldn't segregate this victory just for Black America, but it should be a victory for all America that Barack Obama is being nominated.
And Black leadership should not segregate the Obama campaign. This is an American victory for American man, American wife, and two American children. That's what the dream is all about.
Now you also spoke to some people about the whole meaning of this for blacks and Jews, right?
Yes, I spoke to Gavriel Meyer Halevi, an Orthodox Jew from New York, who quit his job to start a political action committee to support Barack Obama, and he was quite moved to hear African American leaders this morning use the Hebrew Bible and the tales of Joshua, for instance, to illustrate their own struggle in the civil rights movement.
I've been completely overwhelmed by the human angle and just how profound and meaningful the Bible and the story of our people is to humanity as a whole, and how it describes the struggles and the supreme sacrifices that were made, and also many of the triumphs that we've made.
I also spoke to Congressman John Lewis, who was very emotional about this day, and he talked a little about what Barack Obama could do to restore the historic relationship between blacks and Jews.
One thing, Barack Obama is not a child of the civil rights movement. He's never been affected by the scars and stains of segregation and racial discrimination. And he's free. He's liberated. And his makeup would give him the ability, the capacity to be much more all-inclusive.
Because Barack Obama has made a point of that in various speeches, including the one he made to the American Israel Public Affairs Committee a few months ago.
And Lewis was very hopeful on that he would be able to do that, specifically because he came from a different era and didn't have was not a child of the civil rights movement, and he said it would be liberating. We also spoke to Barbara Goldberg, a co-chair of an Obama Jewish Community Leadership Committee.
In fact, it has been very emotional, specifically for me, Eric, because it is reminiscent of what I experienced in the 60s and early 70s. It is clear that the Jewish community is behind Barack Obama, and should be, because the Jewish community and the black community have a very deep and beautiful history together, and this is going to be renewed under the leadership of Barack Obama, our next president of the United States.
Okay, we also went to a global leadership event where some of the top Obama foreign advisors were speaking to an audience of parliamentarians from around the world, places like Afghanistan, South Africa, Britain, Canada, and talking about their plans. Now, it was a very broad-based foreign policy discussion, but top advisors like Tony Lake and Susan Rice did talk about the Iran issue, and they placed it within the broader strategy of the Obama's foreign policy, which is what they say is to be integrationist. They integrate the military, the diplomatic, the political, rather than what they say was George Bush's policy, which was a unilateralist.
We also had a conversation with an interesting congressional candidate from Colorado.
Yes, his name is Hank Eng, and he's actually from the southern suburbs of Denver. He's trying to replace Tom Tancredo, the Republican congressman who's actually retiring this session. Tancredo's known for his very strong anti-immigration stances. Now, Hank Eng is interesting because he's a Chinese American, but he's also a recent convert to Judaism. We spoke to him, and he grounded his approach to politics and his approach to issues like foreign policy and immigration, both in his experience of being a child of immigrants, but also in his conversion to Judaism.
I bring the same story that makes up America, and we're an incredible tapestry of stories. And the immigrant families who have come here that have made this country, that's what we're all about. And it's resonating this year because people want to look back at what they are, where they've come from. And unless you do that, you really can't move forward. And that's why my story, Barack's story, even Joe Biden's story is so important to us and our background and how we're going to look at ourselves going forward into the future.
Okay, we're wrapping up here in Denver. We're off to St. Paul next week. This is Ron Campius
And Eric Fingerhut.
from Denver, Colorado for JTA.